Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer weiteren Folge Chäos Head Noah. Ich weiß, dass wir in der vorletzten Folge waren wir in der menschenleeren Stadt und sind dem Mann im Rollstuhl begegnet. Ich weiß jetzt leider nicht mehr so ganz genau, was jetzt in der Folge danach war, in der Folge zuvor. Ich weiß noch, dass ich die Austauschschülerin, ich habe gerade ihren Namen vergessen, verdammt. Irgendwie ist das nicht gut meinen Namen vergessen. Ich sollte mir das mal Sorgen machen. Wir haben die auf der Treppe gesehen, weil die offenbar gestürzt ist. Und ja, Misumi-kun ist jetzt dorthin gerannt in die Richtung, als wir das erwähnt hatten. Beziehungsweise als sie ins Klassenzimmer gekommen ist. Ich weiß aber nicht mehr so ganz, was davor noch war. Obwohl, Senna war ja noch irgendwo in einem Bahnhof und hat halt Leute sozusagen belauscht, um halt Informationen zu erlangen, für was auch immer. Ich weiß aber nicht, ob das war oder ob noch mehr passiert ist. Egal. Auf jeden Fall sind wir gerade im Klassenzimmer und ja, mal sehen, was mit Rimi und Taki jetzt ist. Taku. Ja, Misumi-kun, please don't go. Ah ja, stimmt, ja, Stimmt, die Delusion kickt jetzt wieder rein. Komm, wieder schön grüne Delusion. Rimi didn't say anything, but she didn't move away from my seat either. Considering the fact that I was hunched over for so far on my desk that I could nearly sink my teeth into it, I couldn't see her expression. All I could see was her waist. But if that were true, then what would mean? But if that were true, then that would mean she had to be facing me. In other words, she was looking at me. Und die Illusion kickt rein. I should work up some courage and act natural.
Ohayo, Sakihata-san.
Alright, first contact went well. But just when I started to feel relieved, Rimi tilted head to the side with a frown.
ねえタク、なんで急に妙ちくりんの呼び方するの？
妙ちくりん。
崎畑さんなんてなんだか他人行儀。今までみたいに呼んでよ。
Like I normally did, but I didn't even know what it was.
じゃあ、リミ。
お、なんだいタク。
いや、特に何もないけど。
じゃあ私から一言。
Okay. Rimi cleared her throat, looked around the room, and then brought her face close
タ
to
ク
mine.
は大地みたいになっちゃダメだよ。ああいう女だらしはいつかひどい目に遭うに決まってるから。
あ、うん。肝に銘じておくよ。
The more honest, neutral character archetype.
そもそも私、大地のことで一つだけどうしても許せないことがあるんだよね。あれだけあちこちの女子に声かけてるのに、私には全く見向きもしないってこと。ひどいと思わない？
え？ミスミ君に口説かれたいの？
I guess that wasn't surprising. He was a total alpha in terms of looks, and he was fun to talk to too. If you're stuck with him, even if you stuck him with a penalty for being a playboy, he would probably still be the type any girl would like to go out with. But despite what I had thought she was talking about, Rimi frowned and shook her head.
タク、冗談きついよ。大地に口説かれるなんて想像しただけで鳥肌立っちゃう。
She wrapped her arms around herself and made a big show out of pretending to shiver.
私はノーサンキュー。でもなんて言うのかな。 女としてのプライドっていうものがあるわけじゃない？ねえ、タクから見て私ってどう？魅力ある？
Good, you're asking me something that's really hard to answer.
どう？
And it didn't help that her eyes were twinkling and she was clearly bursting with anticipation. That's, of course, I thought she was attractive, but it would take a lot of courage to say it out loud.
認めたくないものだな。
No one likes to admit to them.
若さゆえの過ちというものを
To mistakes made because of you.
引っかかった。
Amy smiled triumphantly. Was she actually an otaku? There was no way. I smiled a bitter smile in defeat. But even though the conversation was completely normal, I found myself having a lot of fun. I want to know I'd almost never had this kind of conversation with a girl before. Didn't know why, but I felt like we clicked pretty well together. Which was why I was able to say what came next so naturally.
リミは魅力的だよ
Also, wann hört die Delusion auf, ist die Frage. Remy exaggeratedly threw her head back. Dieses Gesichtsausdruck ist geil. The kids in their face instantly turned beet red.
面と向かって言われると恥ずかしい。でもありがとう。タクにそう言ってもらえるとすごく嬉しい。大地に口説かれるより1億兆倍嬉しい。
1億兆なんて桁はないけど
なんとなくニュアンスで分かってよ。それだけスケールの大きい嬉しさってこと。
Und vorbei mit der Delusion. Ach, so that's what it is to be young. If only I could have that kind of conversation daily. Every day of my life would be fun and fulfilling, and how I saw the world would be changed completely. But at the end of the day, that was just an illusion. The me in reality couldn't even make eye contact with Remy. I just kept my head down and didn't move and stayed silent. I despised my own cowardice, and so I was hit with a fierce wave of depression.
タク？
Remy, who had been silent the entire time, finally called out to me, albeit hesitantly. But I couldn't respond due to how sudden it was. To her, it probably felt like I was ignoring her. In my head, I knew I couldn't keep acting like this, but in the end, I still couldn't get myself to do anything.
大丈夫？
This time, I nodded frantically. It probably made me look pretty suspicious.
そうだったらいいんだ。
Remy's voice was gentle. I could hardly believe, but she seemed like she was going to continue patiently being with me even though I was being silent. Are you okay? Was what she had said. I felt the sudden urge to ask her something I wanted to ask. Back when we met in front of 107, what did it look like to you? Considering the fact that she hadn't mentioned anything in particular, it seemed like she didn't know anything about the people temporarily disappearing from the streets of Shibuya, nor anything about the wheelchair-bound shogun, which would probably mean it had just been one of my delusions after all. That was why I wanted to ask her. But I didn't think I would be able to look up and do so after all this time. Either way, I couldn't do it today. Couldn't even prepare myself to ask her. So next time, then, I would ask her the very next time I came to school. Yeah, I should probably organize the questions I wanted to ask her before then.
ねえタク、折原さんがこっち来たよ。
The tensor student? Or was she coming over here? Was she going to come down on me for not helping her on the stairs earlier? But she didn't seem like the type of person to do that. Or maybe she wasn't coming up to me, but she actually wanted Remy for something. Die ist irgendwie knuffig. The tensor student came up to Remy, then stopped. She didn't say anything, what the hell. As long as Remy was here, I couldn't raise my head. The tensor student's toes were fidgeting, but she still didn't try to say
折
anything.
原さん、どうしたの？
For some reason, the new student timidly then placed a single bandage on the edge of my desk. It was a fancy one with a picture of that weird character Gary Foggy emblazoned on it. Was she giving it to me? Ah, how do I act? This Harakoso girl was kind of weird. What? Was she crying? Why was she crying? Was it because I didn't say anything? But the transfer student hadn't said anything to me either. Remy swooped in to cover me. Come to think of it, that was a little bit odd. We didn't know next to anything about Remy, and yet she knew a lot about me. Oh. Oh, cute! Like a puppy, who said the transfer student bowed her head deeply to me and then she sped her way back to her seat. It was almost like she was running away or something. Why had she given it to me? I got the feeling Miss Mikun had come back. Anything yet? Yeah. Oh man. I shook my head from side to side as hard as I could. Yeah, that's because you are here. I wasn't ready for that. I had never talked to a friend who was also a girl or friendly before. Then again, I'd never had a single female friend before. Not throughout my entire life. Oof. Gemein, aber na gut. The sound of the bell told me that all classes were done for the day. The second it went off, I packed my things, got up from my desk and left the classroom. I couldn't stand the subtle distance I felt between me and Remy for a second longer. So I wanted to get out of the classroom ASAP. Besides, I also had to stop by Mangadarake today. In the end, I hadn't been able to say a single word to Remy. I would have several chances to talk to her, but just like this morning, I'd kept my mouth locked shut the entire time. I might have screwed up by doing that. It would make it even more difficult to talk to her the next time I saw her. I was sinking deeper and deeper into the thick swamp that was trying to figure out who the hell to act around Remy. How the hell, nicht who the hell, how. Oh. Oh yeah, Supi. Just as I was about to leave the school building, I was hit with the voice of a certain irritating person. Nanami came running up to me, holding a trash can in her hands. She must have been in the middle of taking it out. Unfortunately for me, the bitch had spotted me. So nennt man doch nicht seine Schwester. I tried to ignore her and speed my way out of her, but just like you, Nanami refused to let that happen. The hem of my uniform was pulled tightly from behind.
妹見て逃げるなって何度言えばわかるの？
なんだよ。
なんだよじゃないよ。お兄が逃げるからナナもつい追いかけちゃうんじゃん。
Okay, then don't chase after me if you don't need something.
相変わらず家に電話かけてこないし、まあナナはもう諦めたけど、どうせお兄が真面目に連絡入れてくるとは思えないもんね。
Wow, she actually understood me for once. Then again, I didn't know how she would, being my sister-in-law, even though I had no need in the slightest for a 3D one.
というわけで、これからも定期的にナナがお兄の部屋に様子見に行くから。
Oh.
感謝してよね。
You should be grateful. Damn it, of course it would come to this. If only I could somehow be freed from the curse of my obnoxious little sister. Hell, even though it would never happen, I at least deserve some form of compensation for putting up with her. I thought about that kind of thing daily. Oh, that was it. That was my chance to put my plan from earlier into action. If I was lucky, it might even work as a modest form of revenge. I checked my surroundings and started walking towards the courtyard, signaling for Manami to follow me.
何？
ちょっと。
なんで？なんかあるの？
She was so unbelievably annoying. Was she capable of following me or something? What a fucking idiot.
ナナミに大事な頼みがある。
え？頼み？お兄が？なんで？
Nanami's eyes went
珍
wide.
しいじゃん。お兄が頼み事なんて。
とにかく黙ってついてこいって。
あ、ちょっと待ってよ。
Du könntest auch mal freundlicher zu ihr sein. There weren't many people in the courtyard. During lunchtime, the place was always crowded with students eating lunch, but the only people who would bother coming here after school were from the garden club or whatever.
で、頼みって？
Der Blick von ihr. Naomi lowered the trash can she was carrying to the ground and gave a big grin as she puffed out her chest.
あ、条件はマクで汚りね。その条件飲んでくれるんなら、本当は嫌だけど、お兄の頼み聞いてあげる。
Yeah, every little goddamn thing she did pissed me off. I couldn't believe she actually wanted me to pay her back for this. Didn't help that I had already treated her to McDee's before to forget it.
わかった。おごる。
え、本当？今日のお兄いつもと違うね。
Well, yeah, because I was lying. Free those for being a liar. And with that I ended Nanami my cell phone. Then asked her to call the prank caller whose number was stored in my call history.
着歴の番号にかける？
ネットの知り合い。
I was telling he had with a suspicious person on the face, so I quickly told Eliza that would seem
ど
plausible
うして
to
ナナがかけるの？
かければわかる。
なんか企んでない？
Oh my god, such Alter, ey. Du bist echt gemein zu deiner Schwester. All you have to do is just shut up and do what I say. If you can't even do that, then just go home. I have no use for you.
じゃあもうお前には頼まない。
I went to snatch back the cell phone, but Nanami pulled her hand back, evading me.
あ、わかったってかけるよ。かければいいんでしょ？ほんとわがままなお兄だな。
Yeah, you should talk. Choking back my anger, I watched with bated breath as Nami dialed the number in question. Nami blissfully unaware, but waited for them to answer. I noticed that on the hand she was holding the cell phone with what she was wearing a yellow bangle. That was the one I'd given her, wasn't it? Then again, it was more something she had just decided to appropriate rather than me actually giving it to her. She even wore it when she went to school. Did she really like it that much? Even though it was just some cheap-ass banger I'd gotten for free. Nami really did have no taste at all. Not that I could really speak for anyone else though. This didn't matter alright now. Anyway, who was gonna answer the phone? Would it be some scary Duquesne piece of garbage? Best case scenario, it was just a prank and had nothing to do with Shogun or you.
あ、もしもし
Someone must have picked up Tsunami called out as she covered the receiver with her hand. Only to raise her eyebrows soon after. She then thrust the phone back in my direction.
鬼
なんだ
なんだじゃないよ。現在使われてませんって言ってるよ。
え
Hä? Er snatched the phone from me and pulled and patted into my ear. Patted into my ear, patted to my ear. And what I heard
お
was...
かけになった電話番号は現在使われておりません。番号をご確認の上、もう一度おかけ直しください。
She was right. I guess that meant it really had been a pranker. It was a prank where you called a bunch of random numbers simultaneously over a couple days, and when the prank was over, both the number and the phone were destroyed or something like that. Either way, it was pretty large-scale prank, but it didn't matter to me either way. I knew now that the mysterious call had been nothing more than a prank, and nothing else mattered anymore.
ねえ、一体何なの？
もうお前用なし
Leaving Nami standing there, I started to walk off, but that didn't take long for her to chase after me.
どういうことか説明してよ。
Just shut up already.
お前掃除中だろゴミ箱置きっぱなしだぞ
あ、ね、でも説明聞いてないもん。
僕は帰る
Without dealing with Nami, I walked quickly to the school gate with her right on my tail.
鬼、じゃあマクディを怒る約束だからね。ちゃんと覚えといてよ。
知るか
ちょっと、嘘ついたの？
まあな
Nami stopped dead in her tracks, looking pretty upset. But I kept right on moving.
鬼のバカ。
Oh, she yelled out in a voice loud enough to echo throughout the entire area. Fed up with her, I went to turn around and saw her glaring at me with her hands on her hips.
鬼なんて携帯の電磁波の影響で脳みそスカスカにされて死んじゃえ。
Oh. Shit, thanks to Nanami's speaking, more eyes were looking our way, even though I made it important to stand out as little as possible at school. My sister was the most obnoxious shithead of all time. Ey, du hast selber Schuld, was das angeht. With giving a damn about what Nami had said, I ran off towards the school gate. It was best to retreat in times like this.
バカー。
Nami's voice could be heard even after I passed through the school gate, making me feel completely and utterly drained. Ey, du hast selber Schuld. Okay, das sieht ja mal sehr faszinierend aus, das Teil hier. Higashi Matsushima was one of my favorite artists. They were ultra famous, and their fans would always form long lines at every one of their events. I had heard that the new Bloodtune doujinshi that had come out this summer had sold out in no time flat. I'd wanted to go too, but all of the events where it was being sold had been way too crowded, to the point where it would have been too much for me. Because of that, I'd found myself tearfully giving up. It had been naive of me to think manga would be safe just because they had consignment sales. There had indeed been some consignment sales, but they had been annihilated in practically an instant. On various online auctions, the premium price was set at tens of thousands of yen. All scalpers would die in fire. Regardless, with all that in mind, I had thought that it was probably impossible to get my hands on it. However, just yesterday, where I'd been surfing at channel, I just so happened to see that the new issue had been recently restocked at Mangadarake. Ich finde den Namen irgendwie ein bisschen fies auszusprechen. Which was why I had headed for it
神
immediately.
様奇跡を起こしたまえ
Please grant me a miracle, ist auch gut. I prayed to the heavens in front of the store and then stormed inside. I scanned the doujinshi section with my eyes as wide as the dinner plate. I went back and forth down the aisle, searching over and over again to make sure I didn't miss anything. But I couldn't find it. No. Was it already sold out? I casually observed the cashier. It was a girl. She wasn't very cute, but she did seem friendly. I'd never even once used the hyper-advanced technique known as asking the clerk about whether or not they had certain item in stock. The reason was, of course, that I didn't even have the courage to do so. And not only that, but the title of Higashi's Matasema's new book was Seratan Cosplayer Gone Wild. So yeah, asking about it was completely and utterly impossible. Excuse me, miss, but do you have a copy of Seratan Cosplay? If I asked a female clerk something like that, I would no doubt be labeled as a pervert, and I knew that for a fact. Thank you very much. In the end, I simply gave up on asking the clerk anything and exited the store dejectedly. Ich glaube, wir treffen jetzt bzw. gleich 2 Personen wieder, bin ich der Meinung. Or maybe I should go to Ad Cafe. Flipping between the two as I walked, a sword I had seen before flashed past the edge of my vision. Yup, eine der beiden Personen. It was a sword with a distinctive two-pronged blade, the one that girl B, the girl who called herself Senna, had been carrying around the city. In the crowded center guy, the tip of the sword jutted above the heads of people walking down the street. As it got closer to me, I hurriedly took refuge in a nearby arcade. When I peered out from the shadows, it didn't take long for Senna herself to appear, the sword resting on her shoulder. Wearing an expression that was just as terrifying as ever, she walked quickly towards the station. She didn't seem to have noticed me. But even then, after having experienced the humiliation play that was lugging around a sword just like hers, the bold way that Senna walked around without a care in the world impressed me. Was she not embarrassed to hold a huge sword like that? I mean, she had to have been questioned by a police officer at least once. No way she hadn't. As I pondered that, Senna's figure got farther and farther away. Where do they say in bed as desserts like the ones she has, I wondered. The one I had gotten a hold of didn't glow, nor did it have a badass shape. No, I wasn't exactly satisfied with it. In comparison to the sword Senna was carrying, mine was far less impressive in terms of design. The entire reason behind me getting a dessert was to use it as a protective charm. Back at the scramble crossing, I had been trembling in fear and wished for something I could rely on. After Remy had shown up, I had become slightly more stable, but the situation surrounding me was not getting any better. I still had a lot of enemies such as Shogun, Yua, etc. That was the reason why I wanted to get my hands on a D-sword that looked way stronger than the one I actually had. Of course, there was also the collector's spirit found in every otaku. As if drawn to Senna's sword, I had been staggering over towards Scramble Crossing without realizing it. Oh god, I bit my lip. I didn't want to be out in front of the station. I would reluctantly go to Center Gay or school or whatever because I had things I had to do there. But if I could help it, I prefer not to go anywhere near them. Having a crowd of total strangers standing around me made me feel as if any escape route had been stolen away, and just the illusion of that made it hard to breathe. Unsurprisingly, the area in front of the station was infested with people. I was starting to feel more and more sick, so I opted to look down at the ground to try to hold back the nausea a bit. Because of that, the next time I looked up, I realized I'd lost sight of the conspicuous sword. It had looked like she had been walking toward the Hachiko statue, but right then, the light above Scramble Crossing turned green. A sea of people rushed into the intersection from various directions. It became pretty chaotic. A whole host of people walking every which way, and they did it all without even so much as bumping into each other. When I saw something like that, I realized how unrealistic the empty Scramble Crossing I had seen in my delusion the other day really was. There probably wasn't even a single second in the entire year where there were no people in this place. What was he even trying to accomplish by chasing after Senna in the first place? And even being able to ask a friendly Mangadarake employee whether they had something in stock. So how exactly was I supposed to talk to someone who looked unfriendly and scary looking like Senna? Besides, she might have been my enemy. I didn't know what she would do to me if I carelessly followed her around with any form of protection. What was wrong with me? I should just go home. I finally decided on that bed right when I was about to turn around. Und ich würde sagen, an dem Punkt beende ich erstmal diese Folge. Nächstes Mal machen wir dort dann weiter. Und mir ist gerade auch gefallen, dass das mehr oder weniger das gleiche Design ist. Also von hinten und von vorne würde ich sagen, das sieht mir sehr, sehr ähnlich aus. Aber na gut. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal.